there I was in front of my employer. She was asking me the first question that everybody asks you when they're going to hire you. And she was like, tell me about yourself. And I answered her, what do you want to know about myself? And she was like, well, you can tell me anything about yourself. Tell me about your family. I don't know, stuff like that. So I started telling her my my family life, kind of. I told her I'm the oldest sibling. I my my brother and my sister live in the United States. My mother and father live here in Retaluleu. And I'm a very sociable person, and I've been teaching for some years. And she just looked at me, and I looked at her, I'm sorry, and I was like, is that okay? And she said, yeah, that's okay. And she carried on with the next question. So this is not really the most professional way in which you can answer the question, tell me about yourself. Well, it was my first experience having an interview in English, so I guess that's why I was unprepared. I didn't know about it, but now you guys have the chance and the opportunity to know how to do it. Okay, so thank you, Raul Arango. Sorry for taking so long for making this video, but you asked me the steps for an interview, so here they are. Okay, so guys, the first thing that we have to do is give a firm handshake. You can say something like, very good morning. Let me check my notes because I have it here. And you can tell the interviewer, thank you for giving me the opportunity to do this interview. I really appreciate it. Okay? So that's one of the most professional things that you should do first. And it's thank your interviewer. The second thing that you can do is say your name confidently. I'm Juan Carlos. It's a pleasure to meet you. Remember, the firm handshake, it shows that you're being professional, and try to speak confidently, okay? So instead of telling the person your personal life choices and what makes you the person you are right now, you should say things related to the job. Like it could be your personality, some personality traits that have to do with this job. Another thing is like all your experience, mostly your work experience. Like how does it make you fit like the perfect candidate for them? Keep that in mind. If you were the interviewer, what would you be looking for in a candidate, right? So don't give that kind of information about personal life choices, the mistake that you've learned from, all these personal stuff. I mean, you may pass the interview, but you really want to impress your future employer, right? You want to stand out. And this, guys, is not only for people that just want to get a job, their first job. This is for people that want to get a job at a multinational, at a huge company. This is the most professional way, and you can start saying, introducing yourself and answering the question, tell me about yourself. So what things should you talk about then? Well, make it very engaging for them. Tell the company's name that you work for, tell them the title that you had, then the number of years in which you worked at that place and what your role was. Talk about your major responsibilities. Let them see how you have moved up in the career ladder. And if it's your first job, the most important thing that you will have to do is to learn how to sell yourself. Yes, guys, that's really important. Learn how to sell yourself, okay? Just think of what the job needs, and you have to sell yourself as that. If you have no work experience, you can tell about things that you have learned in life so that your employer will go like, okay. And let them know that you're also willing. You're a willing person to learn, to that you really want that job, right? Let them show all your enthusiasm, okay? So moving up, remember, number 1, thank the interviewer. Number 2, say your name confidently. Number three, if you answer the question about before answering, tell me about yourself, it's always good to make small talk, right? So how can you make small talk? Well, if you're not such a talkative person as I am, you can say some phrases like, "Wow, I like this office. It's it's really cool." Or you can say things not so casual. You can say, "I really like this office, the way it's organized. It it's a beautiful office." You can say, small phrases like that. You can say things like, "Is the job here?" And it's not because you're dumb and you don't really know where the job will be. It's just so that you make some small talk, okay? If you're more talkative as I am, I would talk about the weather. Like, "Oh, it's mild today. That's great because it's been really cold lately." Or you can say, "Gosh, it's chilly today. Man, these days are like they're this bad weather seems to not go away." Or you can say things like, "Oh, today's a warm day. I like it." Or you can say, "Wow, it's a beautiful day today." Or you can say, "Wow, this weather is absolutely terrible. I really hope it gets better." Okay? You can talk about the traffic, if you got really quickly to the place, if it was easy for you getting to the place, or if the traffic was terrible. You can say, "Gee whiz, the traffic in this city every time it gets worse and worse," right? You can ask questions like, "Sorry, how many people work here?" Make small talk. Okay, now let's get to the point and answer. Tell me about yourself. So I would say something like, "Okay, I've been working as an English teacher for 14 years. My first job, I got it by chance. I didn't really know that I wanted to be a teacher. So the first thing that I realized about is that I didn't master the language, that I was really confused. So I decided to enroll for a course in English. And my teacher was not like the best teacher I had. It was a native teacher. Sorry if you know who I am." But it's when you're unexperienced, you make a lot of mistakes. That's what companies look for people who are experienced people, okay? So this teacher, well, it was her native language. She was Canadian. Obviously, she knew the language. She could correct us. I had an intermediate level of English. But she just opened a book and randomly chose a grammar point which she didn't understood correctly, and she was not very professional at presenting the new material, okay? But this, I'm telling to you, I wouldn't tell this to the interviewer because I'm going the other way. Like, I'm not really telling the interviewer what he wants to know, okay? So getting back to the point. I worked for XYZ private school for a year. I was an English and art teacher there. And then I started quickly moving up my career ladder. I got a job at an English school, which it does not exist anymore, which I think was one of the most prestigious English schools that there was in the country back in the day. I learned a lot from the training that they gave me. It is one of the most professional trainings that I have. I learned so much in that place. It was really hard for me answering all the questions we had. I can't remember, like a zillion questions for every module that we had in the training. So I learned a lot in that place. And then I decided that I was going to go to an even more prestigious place to get a job, also as an English teacher. So I got hired in a binational center that is backed up by the Embassy of the United States. I continued working in private schools, and then I got a job at a multinational, which is a language school. And well, from being a teacher, my responsibilities were to plan, to manage my students, to fill out a lot of paperwork that had to do with grading most of all. But then I got a job as a team leader, as the coordinator of a branch that this multinational opened in a department of the western part of the country. So I had way more responsibilities than I used to have as a teacher. I was in charge of training my team. I was in charge of the quality of the teaching in that branch. And I also became a teacher trainer at this multinational. So I taught lots of people from different backgrounds that taught different languages. So it was a challenge for me, which made me learn a lot and improve my English even more. In all these places, my English was improving. And I would like to say that in the last place that I worked at, like as an English teacher, I would say the most prestigious multinational language school that I worked for, I just perfected my English in that place. Okay, guys? So this is what you want to do. This is what you really want to do. Don't tell them like, I'm the oldest sibling. My brother and sister live in the United States. My father lives here. That's not really professional, right? And mostly if you are if it's your first job, that's what I mean. If you're going to get your job for the first time, you have to know how to sell yourself. You can tell them things that you learned at high school, things that you learned at middle school, even if you were in Boy Scouts or any sort of diploma that you got or certification that you got, maybe your apprenticeship, anything that made you learn that will make you the perfect fit for that. Okay? So sorry guys for taking so long. I was really, really sick. But I promise I'll do these videos sooner. Hopefully sooner than you expect. So have a nice day and see you soon. Until the next time. Bye.